Hello and welcome to this new series that we're doing on the Curious Cat Bookshop's YouTube page only. This is not part of our podcast. It's just something I thought that you would all enjoy. Let me get a few things out of the way. I've been working on some blind dates with a book, but this, I think it might be fun for us every week to sit down and look at what is brand new in the store. I have a giant pile of new stuff that has just come in this week that was released on Tuesday, plus a few other things that I thought I'd give you a sense of what to look forward to. So we're going to start with children's and work our way up. These are little wipe clean books. I hear a lot from parents and aunts and uncles that they love them for road trips because they come with a little dry erase marker and the pages are very slick so kids can do them again and again. This week we've got first words and numbers, but we've got airport and a few other things in our activity books section. This is just what we got in this week. Now, most of the books that I'm going to show you came out this week, but a few of them just happened to come in this week, so I'm sharing both. And we're getting ready for Mother's Day, so we're ordering more and more mom books. This is a Busy Town from Richard Scarry, book about the best mommy ever. And I don't know if you've seen me talk about how much I love Richard Scarry, but we just got stickers in a few weeks ago. My favorite are these apple car with lowly worm. We've got the hot dog car, the donut car. We've even got the egg car, the carrot car, and the pickle car. Those are really hard to hold on to. I'm dropping stickers everywhere. But the newest book that has just come in is Best Mommy Ever. And that, I think, is adapting a story from one of Richard Scarry's books from the 60s or 70s. I don't believe he is with us anymore. So any of the newer books coming out with Richard Scarry's name on them, I think are adaptations of some of the books that have come out in the past. If you have toddlers, you'll be very familiar with how good board books are for that age group. This is a book of bugs, just talking about spiders and ladybugs and butterflies. And you'll notice that there are cutouts so that you can see and your child can feel through all the leaves. Mama Hug by Emma Straub. If you know Emma Straub for her adult books, yes, that is the same author. And the Eric Carle Thank You Mom book from Baby Bear and Friends. And again, Eric Carle passed away a few years ago, so most of the books in the Eric Carle line are adapting what he's done in the past. This particular book is inspired by Brown Bear, What Do You See?, which we also have the original of in board book format. Board books are really great for your toddler because they're made of cardboard and they can chew on them. They can throw them across the room, and that's what they're built for. They're still going to fall apart with rough use, but less likely to be tearing pages out of them. Graphic novels are so popular with the middle grade set right now. And what I mean by middle grade, if you're not familiar with that term, is ages 8 to 12. We've got Last Day Pool Party in this week by Emma Steinkellner. She wrote and illustrated, I forget exactly the title. It was a super cute graphic novel series about a witch. The Last Kids on Earth this is not the graphic novel. This is the illustrated book, which has been out in hardcover paper over boards for years and is very popular. This is a special edition paperback. So the first book of The Last Kids on Earth is finally in paperback. And the Cloud Puppy series of graphic novels for young middle grade, chapter book, middle grade is kind of nebulous in there, has a new book in the series out. This is book 3 in the series, and it's really great for your second graders into third and fourth grade with very simple dialogue, colorful images, and a lot of fun. The first book is just Cloud Puppy. Second book is Cloud Puppy Game On. And this is Cloud Puppy, The Pup Days of Summer. It's summer vacation, but Cloud Puppy's friend, Mosquatch, doesn't like roller coasters. So what are they going to do when they go to the amusement park? That is going to be a really great one for anywhere from first to fourth grade, depending on reading level and interest. Now we're getting into YA. I've got a pile here, and I've got an ARC to show you as well that for a book that's coming out in a couple of weeks. Maybe Tomorrow I'll Know is by Alex Rittney, and it's about a person who suddenly wakes up in a girl's body careening down the highway and getting in a car accident over and over and over again. Lori, the main character in the girl's body, doesn't know how to stop this Groundhog Day-like experience, but they've only got 100 days to figure out how to prevent that accident and move on with their life and maybe get out of this girl's body. The Escape Game is by best-selling author Marissa Meyer. You might know Marissa Meyer from Cinder. And Tamara Moss, whose work I'm not familiar with. This is a gorgeous book. Look at those sprayed edges. This is The Escape Game, which is a locked room mystery about escape rooms. The story starts with season 5 of this reality show about escape rooms. And we've got 4 contestants with escape room knowledge, including one who is the little sister of the girl who died at the end of season 4. And the stakes in season 5 are also deadly. So that's The Escape Room by Marissa Meyer and Tamara Moss. Next up, we've got Girl Reflected in Knife by Annika Mrose Rissi. This is a story about a mother and a daughter's relationship. It's a story about Destiny is finally at a place in her life where things might be going well once she and her mother moved to Texas. She did end up in a psychiatric hospital at one point, but now she's doing well, but she's telling a few lies to herself and they start to spiral. And what does that mean for Destiny's ability to claim herself and her identity? This is contemporary YA fiction. You'll notice that a lot of YA books are getting a little bit shorter than the tomes we've had in recent years. And I love to read YA. I'm in my 50s now, but I'm still reading YA. I've said here before that it kind of makes me sad that the sales in my YA section are so low. 10, 15 years ago, YA sales were through the roof. Everybody was on the train for vampires or dystopia, that kind of thing. And we're going to be talking about dystopia in a moment because we've got, in a couple of weeks, we've got more dystopia coming out, but not in YA. But I do just want to recommend that even though I love that there are so many YA readers who are now moving on to adult fiction now that they are adults, and that adult fiction is recognizing what was really cool about YA and really incorporating great cover design and just a lot of exciting stories. I love that those adult readers are finding what they're looking for in adult fiction, adult romantasy, fantasy, romance. But I also just want to encourage readers to continue to look in the YA section for excellent mysteries. Oh my gosh, mysteries right now are the thing in YA. Come and look at our mystery section over here if you're in the store, because there are some really great murder mysteries happening in YA right now. But also the kids reading YA now, the kids who are the right age, 12 to 18 right now in YA, are our COVID kids. They were in elementary school during the middle of COVID, or maybe young middle school, and now maybe they're seniors. And so one thing that I've noticed is that books are getting shorter because we do have a little bit of catch up that we still have to do for attention span. And that's why I think that graphic novels are so popular right now, because our youngest of middle schoolers were starting kindergarten in the middle of the worst of the lockdowns. So we're seeing shorter books for young people. And I think that that is a good thing, because that can hook them in and help get them to really love to read. And I want these kids to love to read as much as those readers of Twilight, those readers of Hunger Games, those readers of Divergent back 10, 15 years ago that loved the YA section of the bookstore and the middle grade section of the bookstore. So shorter books, definitely, but the storytelling has not lost any of its quality. And if you are an adult, there is no shame in looking for some really amazing storytelling in the YA section of the bookstore. Now, on to adult. That is a much bigger pile. Oh, we're not on to adult yet, because before I get into adult, I really want to show you, this is an ARC, an advanced reader's copy that I am in the middle of reading by one of my favorite authors and a friend, Diana Peterfreund. This is her new Ellen Poe series. The first book is The Forgotten Lore. I am all about reading books about ghosts. I don't like to watch zombie stuff, but I love reading about it. There's just some kind of ghosts, zombies, vampires. I think those are the perennial horrors of humanity. They reflect our deepest fears. And Ellen is a rumored descendant of Edgar Allan Poe, and she begins to have nightmares about dead people, and then she starts being haunted by Edgar Allan Poe's ghost. It's part psychological thriller, it's part supernatural mystery. I don't know if you can see that. This comes out on April 21st. So if you love ghost stories and mysteries, like I said, there's some amazing storytelling still happening in the YA section of the bookstore, and this is going to be one of them. Diana is going to be on our podcast, so keep an eye out for that. It won't be a live event. In this case, we're going to be recording, and then I'm going to be releasing it later. So I believe that it'll probably come out late April, early May, just depending on how the cycle of editing goes. But Ellen Poe, The Forgotten Lore by Diana Peterfreund. And all of these books, by the way, I have a list of them below. So if you are interested in checking out any of them, check it out in our list below on our website. Pre-order for anything that I'm talking about that's not out yet. And we do ship. And now on to adult. We've got Writer by Jessica Peterson. You might be familiar with her for her other Western romances, Cash, Sawyer, Colt. This is in that same series, I believe. I'm not as familiar with romance. All of our romance readers, you'll be able to tell me rather than me telling you. You know, Western romance seems to be making inroads in the romance side of things. This is a very pretty book. Sprayed edges are everywhere right now. Writer by Jessica Peterson. If you're a mystery fan, we've got Simon Brett's newest book in the Decluttering Mystery series, A Disorganized Death. This is about Ellen Curtis, who is a professional declutterer. It's quite a short book. I think it might even be a novella, but A Disorganized Death, that'll be in the mystery section. This is Year of the Mare. And if you love The Little Mermaid, this is about Ariel's granddaughter and how, okay, so her grandma had her happily ever after, but Yemi's life is not doing as well. So what does that mean for Yemi if she has to approach the sea witch as well? So that's Year of the Mare by L.D. Lewis. Look at those sprayed edges. I hope that focused. I am loving the trend of older characters, sometimes quite elderly characters in fiction for adults. This is actually not a mystery. This is a romance. It's about cutthroat Scrabble in a retirement home and how feelings might be cropping up between a couple of rivals. So that is The Last Letters of Sally and Walter by Tammy McGovern. If you've been paying attention to the tradwife trend, this is the book for you. It's called Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. It is actually a signed first edition. We've got a few of those, I think. Oh, yeah. I have a couple more in the stack here. I didn't order them as signed, but they came signed. We only have one, so if this is something right up your alley, come and get it quickly. I should have started with, these all came in this week, and I haven't read any of them yet. I'm in the middle of Seek the Traitor's Son, which doesn't come out for a couple of months, but I don't really get a chance to read all day. I'm mostly, I don't know if you can see this giant pile of projects next to me. I think I carefully cropped them out, but I've had all of these, so I'm listening to audiobooks, but I have not had a chance to read this one yet. Oh, it was my cousin. My cousin actually was telling me that I should read it. It was my cousin who was telling me I should read it because she was saying that it's kind of like Ballerina Farm meets, I forget which exactly, but I think she said it was like Ballerina Farm meets like Real Housewives. So this is one to get a look at, and if you are fast enough, you might get a signed copy. This is We Call Them Witches by India Rose Bauer. This is present day. 2 years ago, monsters tore through Britain, and now a bunch of people are living in refugee camps, and the main character's younger brother is taken by witches, and she has to get him back. Emma Straub, who I mentioned earlier, has a new adult book out this week as well, and this is American Fantasy, which is basically, the concept is, what if your teenage fantasy came true after you were an adult? It's a cruise with a 90s era boy band. Take a look. Emma Straub, American Fantasy. And now on to nonfiction. This is the one that NPR fans are going to be really excited about. It's Planet Money's Guide to the Economic Forces That Shape Your Life. If you've been listening to Planet Money on a regular basis, you will have heard a couple of weeks ago their podcast about how they got their book deal. And I haven't listened to the next one in which they were going to talk about the publication process. I need to get back to it. I, as somebody who has worked in publishing, was not surprised by any of the information that they gave in the How We Got Our Book Deal podcast, but I love their storytelling of it. And they did a really good job of laying out for a lay audience how publishing works, especially when you're talking about selling a book on proposal, which is what happens in the nonfiction world. So if you are interested in getting published, I really highly recommend listening to that episode of Planet Money, and probably the next one. I mean, I'm going to recommend it right off the top without even having listened to it yet, because they did such a good job with that first one. But I love Planet Money just because they give me so much information, like my lay level, without a whole lot of jargon, a whole lot of having to really understand the depth of economics or having a degree in it to be able to understand how our economy works. And I'm looking forward to reading their book. Ada Limon, who is a poet, has a new book of poetry out. This is In a World of Sunrises by Cleo Wade, is 365 days of heart, soul, and hope. It's kind of daily affirmations or just inspiration. So those are the things that are actually brand new out this week. But we did get some stuff in that's new to us this week because we've been waiting on them. Pride and Prejudice is obviously not a new release, but we've been waiting on this for months now. It's a Chiltern Classic edition of Pride and Prejudice, and I don't know if you can see how it shimmers in the light. That's why I'm turning it around. It's very pretty. So we've got a new version of Pride and Prejudice on hand. Throwback by Maureen Gu just came out in paperback this week, and I love this book so much. And this is one of those YA books I was saying, I wish that more people were reading YA right now because there's so much great storytelling happening in YA right now. Maureen Gu's books are just a blast, and this is no different. Throwback is about a modern teen who has this awful relationship with her mother. She just does not understand her mother, why her mother is so rigid about everything, why her mother is so overprotective. And suddenly she finds herself thrown back in time to the mid-90s and going to high school with her mother and starts to really understand her mother a little bit better. If you loved the Hallmark TV show The Way Home, the time travel series about the teen girl who went back in time to the 90s to basically witness her parents before they got divorced. This is very similar, but a much, much different kind of story because this is about an Asian American girl seeing how her mother navigated racism in the 90s and trying to be the minority and all of those things that were the pressures that were put on her mother that her mother was trying to protect her from. This is such a fun book. I'm just telling you all about the racism and pressures, but yes, Maureen Gu makes it fun. And it's just this beautiful story of friendship and family that I think everybody should read. It's called Throwback by Maureen Gu. And next up, another signed edition that I didn't know was coming. We've got the new book from Tayari Jones, which I believe has made the New York Times list now. It's been out a couple of weeks. Kin by Tayari Jones. This is a book that everybody is talking about. It's about two motherless girls from Alabama who were raised together by an aunt. And it's a story of sisterhood. It's a story of what it means to be family. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but it's on my list because I've heard such good things about it. And if you are lucky and come in and get the next two copies, they are signed. Hi, it is still the same week, and I took long enough to get this video edited that our Hachette order came in that I had been waiting on. It was a little bit late, and that means that I got another stack of books that came out this week. So I wanted to add these to the video before I put it out. This is going to be completely out of order, just going through the stack as it came in. So starting off, It's My Birthday by Mo Willems. I loved. My nephew is now, I want to say 25. I think he's turning 26 this September. And so when he was a toddler, I used to love to read him Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. This series has basically become a juggernaut in the last 25 years. So now It's My Birthday, starring the pigeon. Toddlers love to be able to tell the pigeon no. So pick that up and pick up the classic Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. We Refuse, A Forceful History of Black Resistance is new in paperback this week. And we'll have it on our This Is What Democracy Looks Like display. It's America 250 this year, and a lot of books on the history of the U.S. and really examining our history and how it contextualizes our time are coming out this year. And I think that it's really important for us to be listening to the voices of those who have been marginalized in our history, and particularly history of resistance. There is a book coming out this summer that I'm really looking forward to called The History of Resistance, The History of American Resistance. Tad Sturmer is the author. You might know him from TikTok, or I think he might be also on YouTube. So that's a book that I'm looking forward to. This just came out this week. It's called We Refuse by Kelly Carter Jackson. Come by and pick it up, or it's in our list below. I think this is pronounced Aisha, but it might be Aicha. This is a new romantasy in paperback. I believe it's an original paperback, but if it is new in paperback and had come out in hardcover before, I missed it. So Aisha is an epic female rage fantasy, and it is the devastatingly romantic story of Morocco's warrior goddess reimagined by a captivating new voice. The author is Soraya Bouat. I hope that you can see that name, Bouatsiao. I hope that if you know how to pronounce it, please let us know how it's correctly pronounced. I haven't had a chance to look anybody's names up before just hopping on and doing this video, so I apologize. But the book is Aisha, and it is about the Portuguese Empire, their colonialism in Morocco, and how this warrior goddess is standing up for Morocco. Mothers and Sons by Adam Hazlitt is new in paperback. We've got a lot of paperback. A lot of these books that are coming in today are, I believe, paperback originals. And I'm seeing a lot of that lately because of the cost of hardcovers is just going up so much. I'm seeing adult hardcovers at $35 or $40, especially when you're talking about the really big books in fantasy and science fiction. YA and children's books, when you're talking about hardcover, the price point, when it goes above $20, a lot of people hesitate at that $20 mark, anywhere from $20 on up. I've talked about this before. The cost of books has not really gone up significantly since about 2005. Even before that. So we are due for prices being raised, the price point for buying books in a store that is printed on the book in the US. That price hasn't gone up in a very long time. So we've been forced market-wide by market forces recently to raise those prices. I don't have control as the bookseller of the price of the book other than giving a discount if I wanted to cut into my margins because the price is printed on the book. But that means that a lot more books are coming out in paperback originals. It used to be that if you wanted your book reviewed by trade reviewers, it had to come out in hardcover first. This is something that Europe got away from probably 20 years ago, probably for the same reasons, because a lot of European countries do have price controls on books because they consider it a cultural good, and all the discounting and stuff is not allowed that happens here in the US, particularly Amazon undercutting brick and mortar bookstores is not allowed in Germany and several other European countries. If you're watching this from Europe, you probably know better than I do what that means for your country. But I believe this might be a paperback original by Adam Hazlitt, but I'm not positive. And this is a book about an immigration lawyer who helps people seeking asylum, but it kind of drains him emotionally for his personal life, and it's about his relationship with his mother. Next up is The Tricky Business of Fairy Bargains by Rena McCarty. It's a cozy romantasy by a debut author. It's about a changeling, the human girl who is stolen from the world of the humans and taken to the Fae realm. So now that she is back in the human realm, she's a broker for fairy bargains, but she makes a bad deal, has to go back to the Fae realm, and has to confront an ex-boyfriend. This one is one that I've really been looking forward to. If you have followed this man's journey, his name is Oliver James on TikTok. He didn't know how to read, and he decided he was going to go on the journey of learning how to read together with his TikTok audience. He is such a sweet man, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. There are so many men like him who fall through the cracks of our educational system, and I think it was wonderful of his community to support him as he learned to read. And I think he's got a lot of things for us to learn from as we look to support those in our communities, kids all the way up through adults as they learn to read. The Song of the River by Gil Lewis is now in paperback. It's a super readable and dyslexia-friendly book, so I think that's really important for us to take a look at. Do you see the spacing and the use of a font that makes it more readable? And it has some nice illustrations. And it's about a girl who is getting involved in the maintenance of their waterways and trying to prevent the beaver's home from being destroyed. And then next up, I actually was wrong. I don't know where I got the date of April 21st for Ellen Poe, but it's actually out this week. So I need to finish it so I can tell you all about it. And you need to pick it up because it's ghosts and Edgar Allan Poe, and Diana Peter Freund is just such a good writer. I love everything that she's ever written. Next up, Picking Daisies on Sunday. It's a sweet romance about high school best friends who meet up in New York City later. He asks her to be his fake girlfriend for a wedding. And a few things that are brand new in the store that are not books, because we are stocking up for Independent Bookstore Day, which is the last Saturday of April 25th. That is also the day that we launch the Connecticut Book Trail with all of the bookstores in Connecticut. So we have been stocking back up on candles. There's a new series of candles from Flypaper Products that we just got in. We've got Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, Gentle Reader, and these are some really nice smells. I haven't burned them yet, but the candles themselves smell amazing. And these have been out for a while, these other, flavors of candle, but I haven't ordered them before. We've got the Princess Bride, Gothic Romance, and Storybook Cottage, and we've restocked on some of everybody's favorites. So those are in the gift section in the back. And also, we have new magnets from Flypaper, new cards. If you're looking for cards for gift or graduation, we've got some of those on hand now. We don't actually sell that many cards, so we don't order many in, but if you guys are looking, if you're local to us and you're looking for cards, or if you're actually wanting to order them off the website, let me know, because we do a lot more stickers, and I am loving these vintage typewriter stickers from Flypaper Products. And I'll have them up on the website soon. These are not up on the website yet. And super cute cat and dragon stickers. There is a tote bag from Flypaper as well that has these cats all over it. It is the cutest. And some quotes from Audrey Hepburn and Jane Austen and Charlotte Bronte. And we have some new bookmarks. So that is just an overview of everything that we have that's brand new in the store this week. This is kind of a long video because a lot came in this week, but sometimes it'll just be, it might be 5 minutes because we'll only have 5 books. But this is a new series, so let me know below if this is what you'd like to see more of from us. And as I finish Seek the Traitor's Son, as I finish some more books, I will be talking about them more on this channel as well. And in the future, I also have planned a series of read-alikes to your favorite things that you've watched. That was supposed to happen back in January, starting with Stranger Things, but then I got really sick and never did it. If you want more of this book kind of content, let me know in the comments. Thanks. See you later.